Let me ask you something. Do you know what a lie is? A lie?
Yeah.
What is it?
It's when you don't tell the truth and you do something bad.
What happens when you tell a lie?
You get in trouble.
This is Patrick Morrissey. He is 5 years old. 5 hours before this video was recorded, Patrick was at home with his adoptive parents, Kay and Joe Morrissey. With his eyes closed, Patrick lay in bed, but he was merely acting drowsy. Patrick witnessed something that night that he ought never to have seen.
I know earlier you said you knew something about some robbers or something.
The idyllic existence of the Morrissey family took an unsettling turn on April 5, 2010, when Patrick, then 5 years old, woke up to the sound of his parents yelling.
And he put these little time things on my mom and my dad so they couldn't walk.
Patrick was present for what will go down in history as the worst house invasion Florida has ever seen. And at just 5 years old, he will be the only one capable of saving his mother and ending the murderer's horrific rampage.
Wow, you're like a hero.
My mom said.
Florida's Plantation, April 5, 2010. Not far from Fort Lauderdale, a middle-class, upper-class neighborhood is rocked by a horrific crime. 601 Northwest on 75th Terrace is the address, the home of Morrissey. 10 o'clock at night, Joe Morrissey fell asleep in front of the television. Kay, his spouse, is still up, busily engaged in her craft room job. Patrick, their 5-year-old son, is tucked in the master bedroom. He's about to wake up from something.
Plantation Police Department, can help you?
Requesting a dispatch on a residential fire alarm.
The resident's last name?
Morrissey, M-O-R.
A little after midnight, 2 hours later, Christina, Kay's 10-minute-away daughter, awakens to the sound of her cell phone ringing. This is not typical for this late hour.
I was about to not answer it, and something told me to pick up the phone.
Her mother is on the other end, but with all the sirens and commotion, she can hardly hear her.
It's just like, you have to come here, you have to get here right now.
When she gets there, the road is closed off. In an attempt to reach her mother, Christina throws herself from the car and sprints down the street, shoving the policeman aside.
I saw her standing in the middle of the road in her pajamas, completely covered in blood, and I just remember thinking how small she looked and how helpless she looked.
Kay is bewildered and shocked. He's gone. He's gone, she shouts out. Christina doesn't know what she means, though.
About the people who had gotten to the house, and I said, it's okay, they'll find them, and she goes, no, Joe is gone. They killed him.
Christina can see smoke and flames coming from the house as she cradles her mother in her arms. When she finds out that Patrick is staying with the neighbors.
You guys have been married for how long?
13 years, I'm gonna be 14 this year.
Patrick, Kay Morrissey's son, is waiting to be questioned by someone in the adjacent room while his mother is being asked.
It might be just easier to start with what happened from the beginning last night.
I was in my craft room and the TV was on and I heard a noise like something fall down. I look up, I saw him.
As the interrogation goes on, there are challenges to Kay Morrissey's credibility. The sole additional eyewitness is brought in for interrogation. The age of Patrick is 5. If his mother is telling the truth, investigators hope he can demonstrate it.
All right, Patrick. Let me ask you something. All right?
Yeah.
Do you know what a lie is? A lie?
Yeah.
What is it?
It's when you don't tell the truth and you do something bad.
What happens when you tell a lie?
You get in trouble.
I know earlier you said you knew something about some robbers or something.
Yeah.
Like what happened?
Robert attacked our house and my dad died.
Patrick is not quite aware that his father has passed away and that the man who adopted him will not be returning.
Do another somersault so I can take a picture.
He was a very hands-on father. He was always doing something with Patrick, all the time.
Were you awake when this happened or were you sleeping?
sleeping, but I woke up myself.
Oh yeah? And when you...
And he put a gun on my mom and dad's head.
Less than 24 hours after the crime, on April 6, 43-year-old Randy Tundador, the father of 2 boys, is sitting at home watching television when there is a tap on the door. As he opens, Plantation Police Department Detective Kendall is there.
The guy that is renting the townhouse is suing us because he said he slept on the stairs.
Detective Kendall discovers a sickly and thin guy in the townhouse. He walks with a prosthetic limb and uses an oxygen mask.
He has a history of being a professional tenant.
Detective Kendall has determined that Mr. Tundador is not fit to have carried out the break-in. He can tell right once that this is not the man Kay saw the previous evening.
Have you ever had any dealings with Mr. Morrissey other than being a tenant?
Yeah, well, right now I'm suing him because I fell down the stairs in the house because of lack of repairs. He stopped talking to me because of the lawsuit. When I met him, he seemed like a gentleman.
What time did you come home last night?
I was home most of the night.
Did you call anybody?
Actually, my son called me. He needed money, but I won't help him.
Which son?
Randy Jr. First off, he's wanted by the law. Secondly, he's a crack addict.
Police ask Randy Tundador Jr.'s father where they can find him after learning that he also has an outstanding warrant for violating his parole.
I'm gonna read you your rights.
All right, where's the camera, the recorder, where's that?
It's being recorded.
Okay.
Randy Jr. seemed composed, very interested to know what information I had about the case, very willing to talk to me.
I don't have no connection with this murder. I don't know who did it. I want to clear my name because I did not commit this murder.
After hours of questioning, Detective Kendall cannot determine whether Randy is guilty or not. He doesn't appear shocked by what his father told them when Kendall informs him of how they connected him to the crime.
I did call my dad. You know, he's been a good father. Like, he tries to direct me the right way and I go the wrong way, you know? He's really a good man. He's a very hard worker. He's a stand-up guy. And he would never do nothing like this.
Honestly, I think you may be involved in it.
Okay.
That's why we've gotta clear the air.
And I understand.
You know what I mean?
Well, then we definitely gotta clear that.
Yeah.
The person of interest in the case of the professor killed is still in police custody tonight.
Tundador's father had little to say outside his shop.
He's my son. I love him to death, and I'm going to support him to the end.
The Prode is approaching a point of no return. The police cannot bring Randy Tundador Jr. to the crime scene. And what's worse is that according to Kay Morrissey, there was also a second person there that night.
It was like a two-way radio, and he would talk back to it. And
were there people talking to him on it?
He didn't let them. He said, just listen to me, don't talk to me.
The police have no motive and just one suspect. Furthermore, the likelihood of learning what transpired declines with the passage of time. In the absence of any new information, Joe Morrissey's murder would stay unsolved. The funeral is held at Street Gregory Great Catholic Church on Wednesday morning, April 14.
My mom, she did not want his memory to be attached to that night. So that was why she insisted on it being a closed casket.
I did not want Patrick to see his dad in that condition at all. Patrick had a very difficult time understanding. He thought that he would look at an airplane and says, my dad is on that airplane, he's coming home. That was very hard for me. Literally, my heart was just in pieces.
Patrick starts to realize that his dad isn't around as the days go by. He starts exhibiting PTSD symptoms at the age of 5. However, nobody is sure of what he witnessed.
I
appreciate you calling us. Like, you understand you're not under arrest. You're here on your own free will.
Nobody could have predicted the phone call Detective Kendall would receive. Scene: Randy Tundador Sr.'s second son enters and makes a startling discovery.
You called us, you said that you know your brother, you know he's a lot of things, but you know he's not capable of murder. You said that you had some knowledge of... Basically, I'm going to tell you straight up.
This shocking revelation alters everything. The investigator is entirely focused on Scene at this point.
That morning,
Randy, my brother, turned on the news. And first thing when I turn on, murder and plantation, early this morning, women, whatever. Brother gets up and he walks to the back porch and starts smoking a cigarette. And I don't know, family, you get instincts. You're not stupid. You know your family. You know what I'm saying? So I walked out in the back and I said, bro, tell me you had nothing to do with that. And he said, go talk to Dad. So I walked upstairs, surprised. He seen the news. He said, you need to shut up. He said, I'll kill you if I have to.
I knew. Right when I saw that headline on that news, I knew it was them. So I asked my dad. I said, well, what happened? And his words were, a dead man can't evict me.
He's been a good father. Like, he's really a good man. He's a very hard worker. He's a stand-up guy. He would never do nothing like this.
He's gonna do anything and everything he has to do to make sure my father doesn't get killed because he loves him.
Randy Jr.'s younger brother, Sean, comes forward to accuse his father. He is unaware that his older brother Randy is about to confess to the same crime in the room beside him.
It's been a while. Your dad's they're crying.
Why is my dad crying?
Because of what you did. Come on, dude. I feel bad for your dad. Seriously, what happened? Dude, tell me. You'll feel so much better if you tell me.
I didn't kill my buddy, man.
Is Randy Jr. merely stepping in to cover for his father? Would his dad follow suit?
He's my son. I love him to death, and I'm going to support him till the end. I wanted the truth to come out, and I wanted him to pay for it.
My father used to beat us bad. I mean, really beat us. One of the craziest guys you ever met. They used to call him Rampage. I used to call him Scarface because he had a big-ass scar on his face.
He says they caught him, not me. He said, you fix this or I will.
Come on, it's common sense, boss. You know what I'm saying? Like, my son's already caught, so I won't go to jail. Let me just throw everything on him. Nah, you can't let that happen either.
I told them I could prove it. And they told me how, and I told them, give me a wire.
What if I can get my father on tape stating that he killed the guy? Give me 2 hours with him. I'll find anything you want.
Detectives tucked within a car key. Sean confronts his father at home that same evening. After turning on the device with one hand in his pocket, he starts questioning his dad. He is aware that the man has already killed someone, and he recalls the threat the man issued. He said,
you need to shut up. He said, because I'll kill you if I have to.
I mean, I was scared, but I wanted my dad to pay for what he did to his family.
Sean questions his father for 2 tense hours, feigning worry for his brothers and his own well-being. The following morning, he returns the gadget to the police station, certain that he has obtained sufficient proof to bring his father to justice. He is unaware of whether the equipment captured every detail. This is what the police hear when they try to download the audio files.
There was a lot of background noise, whether it didn't record properly or there was some sort of obstruction in the recording.
It causes them to wonder if Sean was telling the truth or if they lost out on a fantastic opportunity. At last, the audio makes the interaction between Sean and his father clear. The true murderer is soon to be identified by the police. Randy Tundador Sr. went to his oldest son, Randy Jr., on the evening of April 5, 2010. A young man eager to please his father and used his manipulation skills to force him into breaking into Joe Morrissey's home.
My dad pulls out 100 worth of crack and he tells him to smoke it. When it was done, he told my brother he has a customer's house they can go rob and get cash and buy all the crack he wants. You're not asking my brother that, you're asking a crackhead that now.
When they check the grounds of Randy Sr.'s store, Gator Tent, they discover more than just the computer from the Morrissey residence. Recently thrown out zip ties in the trash can. A bare box containing the two-way radios that the murderer used on his hunting knives. The exact foreign money notes reported stolen from the Morrissey home were found in a bucket.
And he would talk back to it, and then he was saying, "Where's the wallet? I want the wallet."
The gloves on, no gloves?
Yeah, gloves.
Detectives at the parking lot suspect someone may have disposed of potentially incriminating evidence because they discovered charred markings on the ground. On the same day, Randy Tundador Sr. lets police officers into his front door, but this time they have an arrest warrant out for him. Detective Kendall calls Kay to inform her that Randy Tundador Sr. and his son Randy Jr. are being held pending trial.
I was going to be there for the trials. Even if they told me that I really didn't have to be there, I was there. So I wasn't only standing there for Joe, I was also standing there for Patrick. I wanted to see justice.
April of the year 2012. The trial gets underway. The case's facts and supporting documentation regarding Joseph Morrissey's murder and the attempted murders of his wife and children are given to the judge and jury. However, the specifics of what the family endured are still unknown. The jury has seen Patrick's interrogation tape, even though he is too young to testify. Patrick shares his ordeal with the world for the first time. His story starts on the evening of April 5, 2 years prior. Patrick is awakened at 11:30 p.m. by someone screaming in the family room. He hears his parents begging with a stranger while he lies alone in their bed. Patrick feels afraid. He listens intently to what is happening in the other room while lying silently beneath the blankets. The house quiets down when he hears the front door close. Fear paralyzes Patrick, and he remains silent for what seems like an age. In the exact spot where his father sleeps, he lies unmoving. He lost his parents, nevertheless. He's not sure where it is.
At that point, he said he wanted to go to the ATM to get money out. He goes, "Remember, if you do anything stupid, I have the gun and I have your kid and I have your husband and your kids with people back there."
Patrick hears footsteps outside his window at home, but he is afraid to look. He stays hidden under the blanket until he hears the front door open again. He gets up in bed and prepares to chase after his parents when he hears their voices. Instead, he witnesses them being dragged with towels covering their heads into the master bedroom. His mother is sobbing, scared, as the man orders them to kneel next to the bed.
And we put these little time things on my mom and my dad so they couldn't walk.
Patrick's parents are unable to see him. "Do it for Daddy, please." Before being murdered, these will be Joe Morrissey's final words to his son. Patrick keeps acting as though his father is asking as Joe is led into the family room, but he can still hear him when his father pleads for his family's survival.
Then the guy came over and said to Joe that he had to go with him.
He is limited to listening, hoping to hear his father's voice again, but he never does. When Patrick's mother wakes him, he can listen to the flickering flames of a fire in the kitchen amid the stillness of the home.
Even when the man was dying, he was fighting for his life and trying to protect my mom and Patrick.
Through the growing smoke, he dashes to his mother's craft area and gets a pair of scissors to cut her ties. Everyone in the courtroom is stunned by Patrick's version of what transpired with Joe Morrissey and his family. Patrick did like his father did and saved his mother's life the night he lost the loving guy who had adopted him. Though unaware of it then, he would have pleased his father. It's now Randy Tundador Jr.'s turn to talk as Kay steps down from the platform. To the surprise of all, he not only admits to the atrocities,
I saved my mom and got the scissors to cut those.
Wow, you're like a hero.
My mom said.
but also provides evidence against his father. The fact that he would sit here and say that it was me and my brother who did this and planned this, I feel like that's wrong. You shouldn't do anything to hurt your kids. I think that a father's job is to protect his kids, not to hurt his kids.
I'm scared. He never answered me. I kept calling him and he didn't answer me.
There is a unanimous decision. Due to his involvement in Joe Morrissey's demise, Randy Jr. has been sentenced to 40 years in jail. Randy Sr., his father, has been found guilty of 10 felonies, including attempted murder, arson, armed robbery, kidnapping, and first-degree murder.
he would sit here and say that it was me and my brother who did this and planned this, I feel like that's wrong. You shouldn't do anything to hurt your kids. I think that father's job is to protect his kids, not to hurt his kids.
I remember the bailiff putting the handcuffs after he was found guilty, and the click of those handcuffs is something that I still don't forget. I definitely feel Patrick is my hero. He not only saved my life, but also helped me save.
They continue to support each other and will not let a father's sacrifice be forgotten.
I wanted other people to see that they can survive. And I think my son also does the same thing.
Patrick and his mom, Kay, are living proof that even after tragedy, there's a life worth living. This is not a normal Christmas morning. Don't pay attention to the decorations on the tree or the presents all over the floor. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and press the bell icon. And thank you for watching.